We'll call for hearing and consideration now Senate Bill 129, which is Senator Felag's bill, and my bill 272. And we're going to call them for hearing together. So when each one of you testifies in a few moments, please direct your testimony to both bills. Senator Felag has also asked me in the presentation to address his points as well, so I'll do that. I, of course, have a prejudice and a bias for my bill, but you'll probably be able to see that when you listen to the comments. Senator Felag's bill provides for the earned income tax credit to increase from 15% to 18%, and my bill would increase it from 15% to 20%. You can tell right away that's better. But in full disclosure, you all know in the committee, and I know it's very late, so I really appreciate the opportunity to listen to a few comments on this because I think it's important. So thank you all. You all have in front of you a fiscal note, and you know that fiscal note tells you that for fiscal year 2020, it has a fiscal note of $5.586 million, and in 2021, a fiscal note for $11.358. What the fiscal note does not tell you is what an investment this represents in Rhode Island's working families. Senator Seveny and I have, because of some recent discussion in the public square, have started to have an ongoing conversation between what's investment and what's consumption in the structure of our budget. We've had some discussion about what those two terms really mean, God bless you, and we've started to identify between the two of us what we would each characterize as investment or consumption in the budget. This is an investment. This is an investment in Rhode Island's working families. This is an investment in every sector of our economy and every strata of our economy, from the very top to the bottom of our economy. Mark Zandi is a very well-known national economist, and for Moody's Analytics, which is a fairly conservative economic analysis body. And what Mark and what his peers agree with is that the earned income tax credit has a multiplier effect, so that low-income earners who have the ability to take advantage of the earned income tax credit, essentially there's a range of 1.22 to 1.26, meaning that for every dollar spent, it generates an additional $1.24 of economic activity here in the state of Rhode Island. Applying this multiplier to the 20%, that would add $46.3 million to the Rhode Island economy. $46.3 million. 11% more million dollars than our current 15%. It is an investment in working families. It is an investment in Rhode Island's economy. We're also all very interested in tax equity. Workers who receive the earned income tax credit pay the same taxes as everybody else. They pay their payroll taxes, they pay their sales taxes, they pay their property taxes, and all the other taxes and fees that we all experience in the state. But for low-income families, that means that 12.1% of their income goes towards state and local taxes, whereas the wealthiest in Rhode Island only pay 7.9%. So we really place a higher burden on the lowest income earners in the state of Rhode Island through our tax scheme. So by creating or establishing, better word, a access to a higher EITC, that 20%, we're actually helping promote tax equity as well as investing in our economy. In addition to that, no surprise, the Trump and Republican-led Congress in 2017 passed what has been euphemistically referred to as the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which, among other things, eroded the value of the EITC because it uses a different measure of inflation, the so-called chained consumer price index, which means that over time, under that federal legislation, the value of the federal tax credit will rise more slowly over time now. So that change reduces the value of the state EITC at 15%. So it's important that we mitigate that impact here in the state of Rhode Island. With that reduced the federal and state tax credit combined, working families, if we don't adjust the EITC, working families will lose hundreds of dollars per year, but we can mitigate that here in Rhode Island. It's important to note, when I talk about that 3 of every 5 recipients of the federal credit use it temporarily. It means it works. They use it temporarily for just 1 or 2 years at a time, and they're back on their feet, and they don't need that boost. But without that boost, it's a much greater challenge to get back on their feet. That amelioratory and beneficial effect impacts workers of color to an even greater extent. Because median household incomes for blacks and Latinos are significantly less than they are for non-Hispanic white households. For instance, for black families, it's $37,781. For Latino families, it's $41,123. And for non-white Hispanic households, listen to the difference. It's $71,295, a huge gap. So the increase in the EITC is an investment in Rhode Island's working families, has a tremendous impact on the money spent in our economy, and has a particularly amelioratory effect as to those in most need within those low-income brackets. So I appreciate you listening to that to understand why Senator Felag and I think that this is important. And now we'll go to testimony.